Oh, sorry.
Photo boy, photo.
You're good. I like the name of the episode though. Razzle Dazzle. Oh my gosh, look at that boat.
Whoa. There's a couple million back there.
I hope he stops.
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna sit down. There's a big boat pulling right out in front of us. Okay, maybe they've done this before. That was kind of scary. I'm like, I think I'll go sit down.
Pretty far, or we can get a kayak. So we can drive the boat back and forth. But it's like
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to welcome you aboard the Island Queen for our trip today. At this time, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the vessel and her safety equipment. This snack bar is located on the main or lower deck, serving a wide variety of drinks and snacks. The restrooms are also located on the main deck, with the men's on the starboard or right-hand side and the women's on the port or left-hand side. Adult life jackets are located in the racks all along the overhead of the main deck. Child and adult life jackets are in a locker above the stairwell on the second deck and in a locker behind the wheelhouse on the third deck. Donning instructions for life jackets are posted in conspicuous locations throughout the ship. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow the directions provided by the captain and his crew. At this time, I'd like to inform all passengers there is no smoking allowed anywhere aboard the Island Queen. If you have any questions regarding the ship or her safety equipment, please do not hesitate to ask any member of the crew. Thank you and enjoy the trip.
You see that yacht there? Isn't that pretty? That is something else right there. we were taking on too much water in our faces to stay up there. We were still, I got Mom set somewhere where she doesn't have to be standing because the ocean is pretty rough right now. I'll turn around and let you look down this. It's pretty rough. Hopefully we'll be on land for too long, and hopefully the skies will calm down. It's truly an experience. I can't imagine what it would be like on a beautiful sunny day. To do this again, I have to talk to my husband and he's still here. This is, like I said, this is just a passenger ferry. They do have ferries where you can drive a car over there, but we can take our bus because, of course, bus is a little bit too far. There's people that have bicycles on. I've seen certain places around the towns that they've gone through that rent the bicycles, so if that's something that you want to do, there's that option here to do that. Anyway, come whenever we are. We are now fixing to come ashore on Martha's Vineyard. So excited. So we're fixing to dock and tie it off. We'll be there. So excited. Here's some friends that we meet with the other night. We are coming out. We'll watch them. We will watch them tie off the boat, or ship, or ferry. So here we go.
our group up. That way, if it's still raining on the island, we're not getting wet all day. Here we are. Big St. Diamond has a rabbit. Not this one today.
I love it. Me too. So,
So pretty.
Oak Bluffs, this is the newest town on the Vineyard. It was incorporated as Oak Bluffs in 1907. It used to be known as Cottage City. And I'll explain why in just a moment. But first, I want to show you the Flying Horses, which is right here. And ordinarily it's open, but as the season starts to wind down, it's going to only be open on the weekends. This is called the Flying Horses. This is the country's oldest and still operating carousel.
Oh.
It goes back in 1888 from Coney Island. So on the latter part of the tour, maybe, once we get back in a few hours, you can just kind of meander in there and just kind of get a sense of what it's like. There's a lot of, it's beautiful. It's kind of very old world, about old horses, articles about it over the years. This is Oak Bluffs Harbor. We're actually going to go into, the reason we're going to go into the gingerbread cottages area, which is one of the reasons why this town used to be called Cottage City. Because it actually should be called Tent City, to be honest with you. Because they had, there used to be this religious revivalist movement back in the 1830s. It was called the Methodist Camp Meeting Association. It's supposed to Baptist, which I'm sure everybody folks probably into. So they, back in the days, they had tents. They were pitching tents around the Swan Tabernacle area. And New England weather being what it can be, they would just, nor'easters and hurricanes coming in. For about 30 years ago, back around the turn of the 20th century, they started painting it in all these ornate-looking colors. You can see them here on the left. And that's when the old gingerbread cottage's name kind of came into existence.
Did they rent those?
No, actually, you know what? They bought them, and the thing is, they own the actual structures, the houses, but you know, the folks here, they don't own the property. Yeah, the Martha's Vineyard Preservation Trust owns the property. What's up? Yes, exactly. And no. I mean, they basically, since these are all historic structures, they've been the same family for generations. That house down there with the American flags, that President Grant stayed there for a couple of days. And all he did pretty much was drink. As he did do.
There's Nemo.
So there is kind of this friendly competition amongst the residents here when it comes to different color schemes. And you'll see that as we go along. I don't know what's going on in the middle today.
Oh, this is neat. Are these young people or older people?
What, who live here?
Yeah.
It's a combination of both, really. It's because, yeah, I think, well, I mean, like I said, it's been in the same family for just years.
Yeah.
You know, and like, it's a rare day. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, it looks like some sort of a chamber music thing. It's interesting. So a lot of these folks, they name their homes. This one's called Flower of the Winds. You'll also see the year it was built in some of these.
So cute. Like a dollhouse.
They have this one thing that happens on this one Wednesday in August. It's called Illumination Night, where a lot of these the folks who own these homes, they bring out these paper lanterns of all these different shapes and sizes and colors. And then, you know, in the tabernacle area over there, they will have all these sing-along, storytelling, and then at 9 o'clock, it count down to 9 o'clock, and then everybody pops on their lights all at once.
Oh,
And
that'd be
people just
cool.
you get about 1,000 or more people just kind of mulling around in here, and then they start talking to the people who own the structures, you know, houses. And some people even
No, you're
just,
fine.
hand out punch and cookies.
doing
It's very
automatic.
old, very old time.
Mine. Oh, you're her son?
Not very good with one hand.
Little church.
Stairs,
What's that? It's kind of like Halloween, yeah.
What do these people do for a living?
I don't know, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I mean, because I mean, I would have to say, like, you know, they're only here for the summer.
Oh, okay.
Maybe in the wintertime, you might have maybe 3 to 5% occupancy. My wife and I will walk
Yeah,
around in
waiting when I get back and
wintertime.
look at it.
And a lot of these places, you'll like to see a light on here. You might see a light on way over there.
Love these houses.
You know, because a lot of these homes are just not winterized.
Yeah.
Just like a bunch of
There is a little
dollhouses.
bit of a disconnect when you see
Yeah.
these homes from the 1800s, and there's a guy working on his computer on the front porch. It seems a little bit of a disconnect there. You know? See, this house, blue with the blue right here on the right, that was on sale last year for $820,000.
Dang.
Wow.
A lot of folks here in the vineyard now, they're starting to considering selling. Whereas even like 3 months ago, they weren't even thinking about it because their house might be worth, like, say, $650,000, but they'll ask twice that amount, they'll get it. So,
Yeah.
hard not to say no to that. So you've all seen the movie Jaws, I assume.
Yes.
And now we're only talking about the first movie because all the other ones after that were just horrible. So it was filmed entirely here. from the vineyard in the movie. Like the first girl to get killed, the second kid to get killed, his mother, and Chief Brody's oldest son, and then a whole bunch of other folks.
No, you want to take a picture? You're fine. You're fine.
Wait, over you.
No,
I got
you're
a cramp
fine.
under my arm.
Oh,
I'm
no.
blasted. Look at that. Look at that. I'm sorry, I'm late.
You're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
There were at one point 315.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of geese. And we also have a lot of turkeys on the island too.
Really?
They just like to hang out, and just kind of just destroy our parks. Oh Lord God. So one of the first bits of Jaws trivia, or location trivia, is where they docked the sharks. Now they had, because they were using more than one shark during the filming of the movie, which was a good thing because they kept breaking down. Just picture this, it's 1974, and you have all these mechanical sharks that are docked right here on the right. I mean, how weird must have that looked?
Yeah.
And people were coming out with their brand new Polaroid cameras, right? They were doing the 1974 equivalent of selfies and all that stuff. You know, there's a very famous picture of Steven Spielberg laying in shark's mouth. So,
I've seen that.
so Oak Bluffs, we're actually going to head up to where the Bluffs area is. It's otherwise known as the Highlands area.
Turn around now.
It is 96 square miles.
At least when I turn around, you see I turned my hair.
Oh my goodness.
So these, you know, a lot of folks look upon Oak Bluffs as the kind of the other side of the tracks, you know, like this, because we are a solid middle-class town here in the Vineyard. You know, then there's folks who are up in Showmark, where some of them are hoity-toity, sort of, you know, wealthy folks live, and they look upon us, oh, you live there. That's right, we do live here, that's right. And these are $1 million homes here, you see. Nantucket sounds a little rough today. And we're starting to experience some erosion along the bluffs here, so East Chalk Drive has been blocked off, or at least for a good portion of it, so we're just going to do a little detour back this way. And this used to be a big whaling island back in the latter part of the 18th century into the mid to late 19th century. Up until around 1860-ish or something like that, because when soil was discovered around 1849, 1850 out west, that's when things started to go south in the whaling industry. But we'll get a little bit more into that once we get closer to Edgartown. That was our big whaling town here in the island. So the name Martha's Vineyard comes from this one guy named Bartholomew Gosnold, who came here in 1602. He was by no means the first person here. We had the Wampanoag tribe of Aquina. They were here about 10,000 years before he showed up. But of course, the British, being what they were, they showed up and decided to name it something entirely different. So they named it. He named it Martha's Vineyard after his oldest daughter, Martha. It just happened to work out that his wife's name was also Martha, and his mother-in-law's name was Martha. So he was covered on all fronts. His mother-in-law actually paid for the trip over. She financed the whole thing.
Hydrangeas just kill me. They're gorgeous.
5 elementary schools here.
Wow.
All, kindergarten through 8th grade. We also have a public charter school here, and we have one high school for the entire island here. The enrollment for the high schools anywhere, I think, let's say roughly about 450 kids. Yeah, it's weird. You think of this island, you don't really know, what is it? Is it big? Is it small? What's the deal? Because when I first came here in 1993, I literally thought it was just a little bit bigger than Gilligan's Island. Which is, sounds ignorant, but what not?
Lighthouse.
So this is East Chop Lighthouse right here on the right.
Do you want a picture of it?
I'm not going to I got the van outline.
What's that? I don't know what it does work. I mean, we have the green light on there. There's a red light across on that one.
Can you take one? Well,
Maybe we'll come back at some way.
So we're on East Chop Drive, and the next bit of Jaws trivia we're going to see is the house where Chief Brody lived, where it was filmed. Now you got to remember, this is Steven Spielberg's second movie, I think, something like that. It was one of his very first. So he went up to this house right here on the right. Number one, it looked nothing like it does today.
This house right here.
This house right here on the right, this was about half the size it is today. So he went up to these folks. He said, "Listen, I'd love to do some filming of this." And then he said, "Well, how about we pay for some renovations to your house? How about that?" And I said, "Okay." So then, so he did some. He did about 99.9% of the shots in there, but he did one scene in this house up here, this newly renovated house up here. No. Now, as we get a little further into East Chop Drive, you're going to be like, what the heck? Like, if the storm comes, these people are gone. You're not entirely wrong, for sure. These people decided to call their place Little Jaws.
Oh, look at that. Look at that ride.
So, these folks down here right on the water, they're going to have to come to some decisions over the next 27, 28 years, because they're estimating that we're going to lose about 9 feet of shoreline. So they, and we haven't had a really good hurricane in a while. And I'm a little disappointed by that. I mean, we don't want anything destructive. But something a little dramatic would be nice once in a while.
What brought you here?
I worked at a radio station, and I was actually working at about 3 different radio stations in New Jersey at the time, and I kept seeing an ad for this Vineyard radio station. And nobody in my family ever left New York, New Jersey area, so I figured, I'm going. And so my first day on the air, I get off the air, I turn around, and there's my future wife standing right there.
Aww.
Yeah, she's not from here either, and we're going to be married 25 years in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. Congratulations.
This house here on the left is called the Doll House. A couple of Barnum and Bailey circus performers used to live there. They were called midgets back in those days. It just recently sold. How much do you think it went for?
$1 million.
$2 million.
Well, let's go right in the middle and you guys will be right. So 1.695. Our year-round population is
crazy.
20,000.
yeah.
For a little.
Yeah, just to give you a little bit of perspective. Yeah, just real quick before I actually continue with that, because I have one of my colleagues right crawling up my knee. Right out here, this house right here with white chimney and the blacktop was built by Joe Kennedy, the father, the bootleg, or as some people just like to say, the bootlegger. Yeah.
The bootlegger.
This was his little hideaway for him and Gloria Swanson.
Oh.
Yeah, and Rose and the kids were back in Hyannisport. Joe was over here doing what Kennedy men do. Yeah. So, but yes, our population is 20,000. And just to give you a little bit of perspective, when I first got here in 1993, we had 14,000 people. Beginning of 2020, before COVID became in our vocabulary,
Walmart?
Do we have a Walmart? No, we don't. I wish we had a Trader Joe's. I wish we did. I wish we had a Dunkin' Donuts. I wish we had all those things. But we don't. I mean, we don't have any chains of sorts. Now, ordinarily, we would go through Vineyard Haven, but there is construction that will keep us in traffic, so we are going to do it differently. That's right. You don't have a choice. You can trust me. I'm not like the others. Exactly right. So anyway. What? Boy, that'd be kind of rough. So going back to our population, 20,000 year-round, but like at any given moment, like during a busy summer, a non-pandemic summer, we could balloon up to about 150,000 people.
Wow.
That includes people who are just here for the day, a couple of days, a week, a month. Yeah, it's an interesting place, I gotta tell you. I mean, this place, I mean, you came at the perfect month. It really is. I mean, I love October, but September is perfect. The water's still warm, fishing is still great, everything is still open, so it's all good. What time is your ferry back?
3:45.
Oh, so you still have some time to meander around. That's great. Good. So I would suggest, I don't know if you have if you all are been planning on eating at the same place or not, but I would recommend the Lookout Tavern, and I'll show you where that is once we get back.
Do they have lobster there?
Yeah, apparently it's supposed to be amazing. So you're talking to a guy that is not a seafood guy, which
Wow.
is good. And people will say, "You live on an island, you're not a seafood guy." Yes, that is correct.
We're having trouble hearing you back here. This blower is blowing really loud.
Okay, I'll actually bring that down.
There you go. Yeah,
Okay, no
thank you.
problem. See, I mean, because I could be as obnoxious as you want me to be. All right. All right. I see. I know I had the right crowd on here. See, this is the kind of crowd that I like, because you're talking with me. We're having some fun. Every once in a while, I'll be talking to people, and there's nothing but a wall of silence.
Oh, there's turkeys.
Yeah, when people when there's no interaction, it's like I can't get this tour over quick enough. Why are you going 80 miles an hour, Ray? Well, what do you think? Because I want you to get the hell off my van.
How did the turkeys get on the island?
I'm sorry?
How did the turkeys?
Get on the island.
That's a good question. I mean, I would imagine somebody brought them on, but I can tell you that, I mean, because we also have deer, and we also have coyotes, coyotes. They swim to the island.
Really?
Yeah, which is something I never even considered, but yeah, I mean, I've hit deer with my car.
Yeah.
I mean, not intentionally, of course, but and I wondered, how the heck do these deer get over here? And someone told me, well, they swim over from the mainland.
It's like a
And then
long
there's
swim.
a chain of islands between the mainland and here called the Elizabeth Islands. They probably stop there, take a rest, and then come the rest of the way.
Huh.
I mean, the deer don't seem to have a problem coming over here. The coyotes, they seem to they reach the beach and they die.
That's a good thing.
Exactly. No. That's it. I mean, like, the coyote's going to be the only one really when it comes to the deer. But all it's going to take is one male and one female to survive, and then
Right.
both races.
Right.
We actually have a ton of skunks here in the vineyard too. It's almost like endemic. I mean, and I think the story goes that some guy was just annoyed with his neighbor and decided to get even with him in some way. So we went over to the Cape and he grabbed a couple of skunks. And whether it was intention to get a male and a female, but he did. And then all of a sudden now we've just overrun the skunks.
Oh my goodness.
So I think his intention was to put him underneath his neighbor's house and just let them have at it. So,
Was Hemingway ever on this island?
not that I know of. That's a question I have never gotten. Why?
Well, yeah, and he's in Florida, and
see, yeah, this
And
might
chickens.
be. What's up?
And chickens run all over the city because Hemingway brought in all these cats and chickens,
Did he really?
and they just run wild all over Key West.
Wow.
Cats would hate the chickens.
Really?
That's where I want to go Key West. Will we go past Obama's house?
You know what? I just found out exactly where he lives today. I mean, I knew the main street, you know, like the main artery. I didn't know the turnoff street until today.
No.
But I don't feel like getting shot at today. I mean, let's live on the edge. Okay. Well, that actually would be funny if I brought the van back and had a couple of bullet holes. As long as we all made it through unscathed.
Wanda, go up and knock on the door, won't you, Wanda?
What's that? That's an idea. I don't even think yet. I
Wanda,
think
you
at
can
this
ask him
point
if
he's
he
gone now.
Yeah.
Oh, so I know what you want to do. You just want to squat in his house. That's a great idea. That's perfect.
No, girls, no.
There's turkeys roosting on that fence.
That's crazy.
On that fence.
Be a good place to come turkey hunting.
Yeah, you can get rid of
I haven't seen any yet.
Yeah, in like the worst way. Jesus. How they got away with that stuff, I'm telling you. We're talking about the Kennedy men. I mean, talk about, I don't know, I mean, like you would have thought that JFK Jr. might have paid attention to his history, his family history, but obviously he didn't do that.
Yeah.
Is there a hunting season for the turkeys?
Not so much for the turkeys, you know, because I think because we have such a high population of animal rights activists, I think they would lose their mind. We have a hunting season for deer out here, but that I think people are good with that, just in the interest of just kind of keeping the population down so that a good portion of them don't starve to death. But also to keep down the tick population, because we have a very high tick population out here, and subsequently a high rate of Lyme disease. So so it's actually, the hunting season is very beneficial in terms of, now let's just take an arbitrary number like 10. Let's say that the rules would set forth that a hunter can bag 10 deer, and he can take the meat from 5, but the meat from the other 5 goes to the island food pantry.
Yeah.
So it's multi-beneficial. You're controlling the deer population and the tick population and the rates of Lyme disease, and you are feeding people who need it.
Yeah.
So it works out.
Good morning. We're all loaded up on the bus. Today is, what's today? Thursday? I think today's Thursday. We're all loaded up on the bus and we're going to go to Martha's Vineyard. But we're going to ride on a passenger ferry that's 45 minutes long to get there. But we started off, it was pouring the rain a while ago. So we've all got our umbrellas ready and hopefully it will push through pretty fast. But this is what our skies look like today.
The other day I did.
It was lightning earlier too, so I don't think the ferry will run if it's lightning. I hope not. But I will bring you along with us on the ferry ride. See you then.